what our starting point is, and then something about what we've been doing, and then what we're planning. Our starting point, we came out of, we're a group, a campaign group of the Climate Justice Collective, which came out of Climate Camp. And Climate Camp, as people, everybody here I'm sure knows, ended a couple of years ago. There was decreasing interest in climate generally around the country, and there was an economic crisis that was absorbing everybody's energy and attention. And people in Climate Camp felt that they needed and wanted to connect with a wider population than the people who had been coming to the camps, which was quite a wide population. It was not as middle class as it has been painted, but it was still somewhat limited. And we started from the premise that we had to absolutely counter the lie that being green meant being even poorer than we were already. You know, given what people are suffering, given the fact that people are really up against it, the climate movement was not going to get anywhere if people felt that it meant getting more into debt, having even less to eat, and being even colder in our homes. You know, in that circumstance, people do think, well, we really can't afford to worry about the climate right now, even though it is something that does concern them. And the environmental movement has not had a great record of concern for bread and butter survival issues. And that has been an obstacle. It is often seen as middle class and out of touch. And there is some justice in that. Even now, you know, a few days ago, I was shocked to find that in a transition town group, people were saying that they weren't sure if they really wanted to challenge the high prices of fuel. Because after all, if the prices are high, then people are more careful with their energy use. And a lot of people are actually, you know, find that really offensive. First of all, people are already being incredibly careful with their energy use. And when the prices go up, it doesn't mean that they get careful, it means that they get dead. And 7,000 people a year actually die from not being able to heat their homes in this country, which is an absolute scandal. And the other people who don't necessarily die, it still has a massive effect on your life. You know, living in one room, you know, when you're cold, you can't do much, you can't relax, you can't focus on anything because something in your body is telling you, I have to do something to get warm. You can't sleep. You can't carry on your normal relationships because everybody's crowded in together, people living not only in one room as a family, but families joining up because they can't afford to heat one place. The kids can't do their homework. You know, it is a complete disaster. Fuel poverty action starts from not seeing that as irrelevant. You know, that is part of what is our concern. And we decisively want to break out of the, quote, activist community and get stuck into day-to-day survival issues. And we also don't think that, you know, the wider community is just trade unions. You know, there's an awful lot of people, in fact, the majority of people, the majority of working class people are not in trade unions. So, you know, there's a lot more there. So this getting stuck in doesn't mean becoming another fuel poverty charity. There are fuel poverty charities and advice agencies and so on. They can be useful. I wish, in some ways, I wish there were more of them, but they don't really make waves on fuel poverty. They're not confronting the energy companies or the government in a way that really confronts them. And that is shown by the fact that over the last couple of months, really, fuel poverty action has been seized on by the media as the people to speak up for people who are in fuel poverty, because we do actually confront them. And we don't confront them in a way that accepts their false dilemmas, because the industry always puts out, well, we need these profits because otherwise we can't invest and keep the lights on. And a lot of the charities kind of draw back on that, terrified by the fact that the companies really do need profits after all. And we don't accept that they need profits at all. So, you know, we're on a kind of cleaner starting point to be able to speak for people and let people's voices free, you know, with the truth. And we also, coming out of Climate Camp, have methods from that, direct action, you know, lock-ons, blocking Whitehall, climbing heating towers. But we also do go beyond climate camp methods and the climate camp mindset into community organizing. We're working towards a Can't Pay, Won't Pay campaign. That has to be possible because people really can't pay. And the present situation is that people who can't pay are being basically picked off one by one and killed by it. So it has to be possible to together can't pay, won't pay. But it's not simple. And we know that for something like that to be successful, as the poll tax campaign was successful, and the rent strikes going back even further were successful, for that to be successful, we have to build up to it. We have to build up a network of people who are going to support each other. And we started reaching out to other groups. Ultimately, we want to involve people who are not in any group at all, right? But to start with, we started reaching out. And to give you an idea of how successful that's been so far, we started with a die-in outside EDF. Then we had warm-ups where we said people have a right, if you can't heat your own home, you have a right to go into any warm building and keep warm. And we started doing that in London, and then it was seized on by various other groups, particularly pensioners groups. And they've now started doing their own warm-ups that we've supported, but they organize them. And they're very, like in a shopping centre, at Westfield Shopping Centre out in Stratford, they held that territory for a couple of hours, you know, and the people were there saying, you know, you have to go out, you can't do this in here, this is private property, and they were saying, it's too cold out there, we're pensioners, we can't go out. And then the guards were saying, well, actually, I agree with you, my grandmother's really cold, you know. So, you know, and recently the Southwark pensioners did the same thing at the Royal Festival Hall. So we started with that, and by the time we got to the demonstration, the protest outside the Department of Energy and Climate Change a couple of weeks ago, we had, just to give you an idea of the range, we had the Greater London Pensioners Association, the National Pensioners National Pensioners Convention, 3 or 4 local pensioners groups, Southwark, Lambeth, Hornsey, I think. The All African Women's Group, which is a self-help organization of asylum seekers. DPAC, Disabled People's Action Campaign, with whom we've been working very closely over quite a while now. DAN, also people with disabilities, who organized the roadblock in Whitehall that was part of that event for an hour. Block Whitehall. Single Mothers Self-Defense, where mothers are saying that they're going without food in order to pay the heating bill so their children don't freeze. The Global Women's Strike. People from Occupy, and No Dash for Gas. And someone from No Dash for Gas spoke at that event. And that was really, I thought, a breakthrough, because there were pensioners there and other people who were not so sure about this renewables issue. And that is something that we're finding as we go around and speak to pensioners groups, particularly pensioners groups. We find, you know, because of the government lies, and, you know, people being told that their prices are going up because of the cost of renewables, you know, and people being worried about wind turbines and the landscape and so on, sometimes people have bought it because that's what they're hearing, and we're having an ongoing conversation with people that we go to speak to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, the title of that event was Stop the Great Fuel Robbery, and that title came from a Lambeth pensioner who, when we went to speak, and that's a part of, you know, broadcasting the words and the voices of the people who are most affected. I just want a couple of minutes on what we're doing, what we're planning for the next period. Do people want that, or? Yeah? Okay. Partly is to continue this discussion. No Dash for Gas, Eva from our group is one of the people who was in the cooling tower. We definitely plan to use that and to help continue that debate. Part of it is casework, because people are being clobbered by the energy companies also in relation to meters and landlords and letting agents not allowing them to choose what form of energy, what company they want, and what form of energy they want. And we're fighting for that on an individual level, and that is part of building the network of people who can defend each other. You know, going and confronting the letting agent or whoever it is part of building that up. We're fundraising because people in fuel poverty cannot afford to get to our meetings, particularly asylum seekers who have no money at all, can't afford to get to the meetings. We're asking trade unions to support us in that. We do have a resolution for trade union support, which I hope people in trade unions here will take forward. And part of it, what we're doing, is continuing to try to change the terms of the debate in the media and the movement, and make clear that climate change is making it hard to survive economically by food prices particularly, and that the companies that are clobbering us with the fuel bills are also making it harder to survive economically. So it's a multi-pronged, united attack and not a contradiction. That renewable energy is actually cheaper, that the increase in fuel prices has been 2/3 due to the increasing price of gas, and that fossil fuels are subsidized where renewable energy is not. We're having some success in countering the government lie that it's the other way around, which I think can be measured by the fact that, amazingly, we've managed to get the Daily Mail and the Daily Express to put forward our position on renewables, and I think that's because we're focusing on the day-to-day bread and butter issues that concern people who may not have thought of climate as their first priority.
Thank you.